What's going on, Jerome's beautiful Sunday morning easy, like Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday out there to those who celebrate. It's time for a Vikings news dump. And also, I just realized, so you can see me from like here to here. Like, I feel like I need to not wear pants more often. I'll just buy a lot of chairs. Anyway, Danielle the real... Sorry. Danielle the real deal Hunter is set to be a free agent for the Vikings. Now, I mean, Danielle has never tasted open free agency, and even though he's going to be 30, he's coming off a career year, 16 and a half sacks, tied for the league lead in tackles for loss, and he's proven that he's healthy, coming off that herniated disc in his neck is 2020, torn pec in 2021, and also that he's scheme versatile, so he could be hand the dirt D end, he could be a stand-up outside linebacker, he can do a lot of things, man. So he's fixing to get paid, and respect to him, man. And I think that the Vikings may be priced out, is what it is. But this is from Dan Graziano, ESPN. The sense I get here in Vegas is that Danielle Hunter will be hard for the Vikings to keep. He will have a very strong market. He turned 29 in October, and several teams had interest at the trade deadline. Chicago could look to add a pass rusher to complement Montez Sweat. First off, Daniel Graziano. Don't get it twisted here. Montez Sweat would complement Danielle, not the other way around. Get the hell out of here. And is very high on Hunter. The Jacksonville Jaguars are another team to watch, though they have to figure out Josh Allen's future. And I mean, the Jaguars, I mean, yeah, they have Walker, the former number one overall pick, who they took ahead of Aiden Hutchinson, which is kind of funny. But Josh Allen and Danielle Hunter, it's pretty sexy. It's pretty sexy down in Duval. But the Bears one would bug me, and we've said before that it was a pretty bad unforced error that Kwesi gave into Danielle on the no tag clause, where the Vikings, they lose the flexibility of A, franchise tagging him, or B, tagging and trading him. So Danielle could just waltz to the Bears and the Vikings get nothing other than some 2025 input in the compensatory pick formula. Or we said this before, the Lions have a ton of cap space, and taking Danielle away from a divisional rival, as well as pairing him up with Aiden Hutchinson. Gross, man. Speaking of adding on the defense, so Omar Kelly, a longtime beat writer for the Miami Dolphins, put this out. So he was asked about the future of cornerback Xavien Howard, former All-Pro, all that stuff. Omar Kelly, Dolphins can't keep Xavien Howard at his present salary, and X is the best businessman I've come across in my 15 years covering the team. We'll figure out how this plays out in 30 days or so. And, of course, Xavien Howard, Brian Flores, they go way back like chiroprac. And Xavien, I mean, yeah, age is starting to catch up a little bit, some injuries in there as well, but he is still a far above average cornerback. He has played in the scheme that Flores wants to bring to the table. He'd be great on the outside. Murph can do great things on the inside, Blackman on the other side. Maybe Evans, who knows? But Xavien will be 31 for this upcoming season. He's due a $15.4 million base salary with a $25.9 million cap hit. So, I mean, the Dolphins will have some decisions to make here. And $4 million of his base is fully guaranteed on the third day of the new league year. Plus, he has a $3 million rooster bonus if he's on the team come March. So, I think that Howard could be a cap casualty. And give it to me, baby. That's right. Come on home, man. Also, take a look forward to the draft and all this talk about, hey, teams could move up, notably the Vikings, potentially going in the top 3 into the stratosphere up from 11, as from that Dan Graziano ESPN post from yesterday. But Daniel Jeremiah, DJ, former NFL scout, has his finger on the pulse of what's going on in the draft community. So he put out, I believe we'll see 4 to 5 teams look into moving up for a quarterback over the next few months. Teams aren't excited about next year's quarterback class and next year's QB class. Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders, etc. And I feel like it's the inverse of what usually happens, because I feel like most drafts, it's like, oh, just wait till you see the quarterbacks next year. I mean, they make these guys look like Tebow and Manziel. Nah. But, I mean, I think it more speaks to the quality and caliber of this year's draft class. And, I mean, next year, I mean, who knows what the hell happens next year. I mean, before Joe Burrow had his 2019 season with Justin Jefferson and no one else, I mean, he was seen as, oh, that Ohio State transfer who had an okay season at LSU. I mean, seen it as a day 3 pick, and then he rose up to be number 1. So I think that there's, I mean, Malone Moss at USC. I mean, he looked pretty good. Looked pretty damn good, man. Like maybe he rises up, wins the Heisman, and ends up being number 1 overall. Who knows? Who knows, man? But teams that could move up. So does Washington count? They just move up to 1? I mean, I guess. Giants, probably not. Tennessee Titans, probably not, depending on what Callahan thinks of Will Levis. Atlanta, yes. I think Atlanta could maneuver up into the top. Chicago, no. Jets, no. Vikings, yes. Denver, yes. Frankly, I think that Sean Payton, once they cut Russ, I think that he would go all in and try to go into the top 3. Raiders, potentially. Saints, no. Colts, no. Seattle, well, in terms of trading up, beyond just getting into the top 3, maybe just moving up a couple spots from where they're presently situated. Yes, I could see Seattle doing that. Rams, I feel like they're good with Stafford, but I mean, maybe moving up a couple of spots to grab their guy. Like maybe McCarthy falls and they want to secure him. Steelers, if they don't swing in free agency, yes. Texans, obviously not. Dallas, no. Green Bay, no. Tampa, pending what happens with Baker, sure. Cardinals, no. Buffalo, no. So everyone else. So yeah, there's definitely about 8 to 10 teams that potentially could move. But how many teams will move? I think it's fewer than that, but I think there certainly will be some movement, just like there is every single year because of the quarterback tax. Speaking of quarterback tax, Dane Brugler, The Athletic. So I understand that some people don't like paying for content. I will say, Dane Brugler draft season, definitely, it's completely worth the price of paying for The Athletic all year. Also, I do think that Alec Lewis is a phenomenal beat writer. I think he does really good stuff, in depth and unique angles on things with the Vikings. So plug there. But Brugler, when asked, could you see J.J. McCarthy going as high as 6 to the Giants? Brugler said this, I expect J.J. McCarthy, dynamite, to be drafted somewhere in the top 12 picks. Too early to rule anything out. Now, of course, the top 12 includes the Vikings. But, all right, so beyond trading up, let's count the quarterback needy teams. Chicago, potentially. Washington, yes. New England, yes. Giants, probably. I don't trust Daniel Jones. Tennessee might be good, just for conservative sake. Let's just say no. Falcons, yes, that's 5. Vikings, yes, that's 6. Denver, yes. So 7 out of the top 12 picks could be in on quarterback. And, I mean, McCarthy might end up being quarterback 4. I mean, depending on how some teams see Jaden Daniels or maybe even Drake May. Well, probably not Drake May. But, I mean, JJ... Actually, I would love to see if there's odds if you could find out J.J. McCarthy being the top 3 quarterbacks. Because I think you might get a decent price on that, but who knows, man. The opposite of decent price is the crooked Chicago Bears sitting at number 1 again. Now, they traded down last year with the Carolina Panthers, got a fistful of picks. They got DJ Moore, ended up taking tackle, Darnell Wright. He's fantastic. But what were they going to do again? All right, so now they could stick and pick and take a quarterback, probably Caleb Williams, sure. But if they trade out of that spot, every single quarterback, whether it's Williams, May, Daniels, McCarthy, Penix, whoever, like if they become superstars, it's always going to be like, oh, the Bears could have taken this guy, right? So I feel like after this amount of time, like, you should know if Justin Fields is the guy. And after 3 years, you don't know. And you could say you need to build around him and give him talent to work with till the cows come home. But is that necessarily true? I don't know at this point. So I would just say, I mean, also remember, Justin Fields was not a Ryan Poles pick. He was a Ryan Pace pick. Stop hiring GM's name Ryan, man. But the whole thing is that I feel like the chances of one of these guys at the top of the draft being the guy versus Fields being the guy, I think you have a better chance with the rookie. Plus, you kick the can on how many years you have until you have to pay them big-time money. You can build the rest of your roster out. And if you take a shot and you miss, if you take a swing and you miss, that's fine. I mean, number 1 overall pick quarterbacks bust all the time. But I feel like if you trade down, like, there's not enough trade compensation in the world to make it worth it. And I think that balking at this opportunity is when GMs get fired. Like trading down twice. Like, I mean, hell, the Bears could have sticked and picked last year at 1 and took C.J. Stroud. And, I mean, swapping out Ohio State quarterbacks. Just go from there, man. I have no transition. But Mike Tice, a former Vikings head coach, great offensive line coach, a former tight end who's fantastic. So, in Vegas, everyone's out there. Guy Fieri, mayor of Flavortown. Mike Tice got himself a picture with Guy. Yeah, I feel like there might have been a couple beverages involved. Who knows? But Tice tweeted this out. Guy doesn't look so happy to take a selfie with me, but that's okay. We go way back. So I will say. So if you go to Vegas, I understand the Strip. It's very commercialized, right? And you see Bobby Flay and Gordon Ramsay and Guy Fieri all over the place. Try to venture out, but pure tourism. Get the Bloody Mary at Guy Fieri's his burger place, because it's literally this tall. It's got premium vodka, and you literally have like a relish tray of like pickled deliciousness and half a pound of bacon. It's great. It's fantastic. Plus, last time I was there, the person I was with doesn't eat pork, so I got a pound of bacon with the plate. It was great. Went to Flavortown, man. Speaking of meat and fans, so Chris Carter, put out this very wholesome video. A very excited Vikings fan who apparently grew up in Wisconsin but does not F with the Packers. He got to meet CC, got to meet his hero. Also went on a tangent about how come Chris Carter opted out of his contract and went to Miami for the last part of his career. It's funny, man. But CC tweeted out, "These moments are what make life great," and it's absolutely fantastic. And I've met Chris Carter about 3 times, and every single time, whether CC's around a bunch of fans or you're just meeting him one-on-one, he is gracious, he is humble, he's as fired up as you are. I mean, it's cool, man. Like, CC's one of my favorite Vikings. Just his sideline grabs all the time, man. It's great. Something's also great. So, Mike Zimmer's been through a lot in his personal life, and obviously, after the Vikings let him go 2 years ago, he had his reasons to spend time away. But something dawned on me too. So we tweeted this out a couple days ago. It dawned on me that most coaching contracts have offset language. So what your new team pays you, or so say that the team that fired you guaranteed you $10 million a year, just for a round number, right? And say you get hired to be an assistant coach for $1 million a year. So then that offsets. So you still get 10 total, but you get $1 million from the new team, and then you get $9 million from your old team as opposed to $10 million, right? It's same thing with the whole Russell Wilson offset language, where he's guaranteed $39 million from the Broncos this year. So theoretically, he could sign for the league minimum on his new team and just tax that ass with the Broncos. So coaches have offset language too, generally. And the Vikings, they had done dual extensions with Spielman and Zimmer through the 2023 season. Now, Zimmer waited until after 2023 to get back in the game with the Cowboys. Now, yes, he was technically a consultant or an analyst with Dion at Jackson State, except that generally does not qualify as being a coach, so it probably doesn't come into the offset. And also, I mean, Zimmer might have done it for free for Dion too. But I mean, if Zimmer wanted back in the game in 2022 or 2023, he would have had a job like that. Like DC, maybe a college head coach, at minimum a DB coach who would have been hired up like that, or like assistant head coach, whatever. But he didn't, and by him sitting out, he had the Vikings pay him the full amount as opposed to getting an offset. So now, like I said, Zimmer obviously had his reasons to spend some time away, but I mean, if Zimmer literally just did not take a premium job that would qualify for the offset just to make sure that the Vikings paid him every single penny that he was owed, I love it. I'm fully on board with that level of pettiness, man. It's fantastic. Something that is not fantastic is Jared Allen not getting in the Hall of Fame. And getting in the Hall of Fame. But Dwight Freeney did get in, the pride of Syracuse. I mean, Dwight Freeney, like 6 foot, like 250 or something like that. But Will Ragg at Sports Illustrated did up a head-to-head comparison of stats throughout the years. Now, Hashtag defensive end wins. I mean, yeah, Dwight Freeney as part of those Colts teams. Him and Robert Mathis were great bookend defensive ends for those Tony Dungy defenses during the Peyton Manning years. But yeah, he won a Super Bowl, and yeah, he had great success. But 7 Pro Bowls. Jared Allen's 5, same number of all pros. But Jared Allen has 136 sacks to Dwight's 125.5. Also, almost double. Well, no, like 66% more tackles. And also, it was great. So Dwight was always rushing from the blind side and always hitting the quarterback's arm. 47 forced fumbles is amazing. But how does he only have 4 recovered fumbles throughout his career? Now I get that a lot of his forced fumbles were on strip sacks, so he wasn't really in position to recover the ball. But I mean, Jared Allen has 19 fumble recoveries, and how does Dwight Freeney have 4? I don't get that, man. I don't get it. And also, I mean, Jared did this in 31 fewer games. So, all right, like black and white stats and also accolades. All pros are more important than Pro Bowls. I feel like it's pretty close, but Dwight got in and Jared Allen did not for the 4th straight year. That's kind of ridiculous, man. But anyways, that's it. Beautiful Sunday. Enjoy your Super Bowl festivities. We'll actually do a Super Bowl video here in a second. You guys are the best. Skull production value.